Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's live link building techniques session with Holly and Randy. Although Holly is yet to appear, so I'm going to fill in. But before we do anything,
I'll see if I can find her as well.
Yeah. But before we do anything, guys, please do check out the channel sponsor. The link is below. It is Randy, the news guy himself, with his PR service, an amazing deliverable if you want to use it to show your clients that you've done some work, if you want some brand awareness, some link building, referring domains, all of the good stuff that comes from a PR campaign can be found using the link below.
Yes,
So
boom, boom.
do check it out. Got to do my obligation.
Appreciate it, brother.
We do have Franklin here. By the way, I was actually, I think it was in the session with Chris Palmer last week, and someone's like, "What is this link below?" I'm like, "Just fucking click it." The people literally need it laid on a plate for them. So, yeah. But there we go. And we have Holly here as well.
There's Holly.
Hey, sorry, I was doing laundry.
Laundry?
Doing laundry?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You could swing by my house. You got probably some of that.
Holly, you've changed into someone I didn't think you were. Why? I'm still scarred at the thought that you used to have long hair and wore a dress every day.
I was gonna say you wear dresses, you do laundry, like
I could tuck my hair in my pants.
When
actually we cut it off, we made a big braid and cut it at the top, and we donated it because it was so thick.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that thought is still with me. I don't know why, but
well, at least it's not other thoughts that you were asking questions about. So.
But Franklin says, I hope one day Merlino will come over here in your live streams. Maybe one day. The only problem with that, Franklin, as much as I love Merlino, I think you would get demonetized very quickly with the language. The smoke.
The smoke, yes.
Yeah. But nah, Merlino's a good guy.
Oh my God. We could probably do a show just on telling your best Merlino stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, quite a character. I've got a lot.
He is the best. He is the best character. Oh my gosh.
It's not quite as good as me, but it's up there. It's up there. But Ryan Durrani says link building, my favorite. So we're going to talk about link building today. If you've got questions, you can put them in the chat. I think Holly has always been a link builder. A link is a link is a link, as her famous saying. Randy obviously builds some form of links, shall we say. And I've always enjoyed link building. So
yeah. And I subscribe to Holly's thought as well, is that I do believe a link is a link is a link. So I never shy away from that stuff. So I think any link is a good link, but I don't know. I mean, I've heard Ted Kabitis, high respect for this guy, and and that guy will constantly say, it doesn't, people get too wrapped up into low DA or DR links, they get too concerned about that stuff. And he goes, and it's true. I think if you look at any big brand and you look at their link profile, they got all kinds of stuff. It's not all just massive high DA links. It's a wide range, wide variety. And eventually, if your site has been around long enough and getting enough traffic momentum around it, you'll end up getting a lot more crappy links on your profile than you do the good stuff. So I don't know.
I think you will end up getting good links too, just the same way people will start. If you do blog posts and stuff like that, people are looking for content to be linking to, or take from or whatever. Niche edits, whatever.
No, I agree with that too. So I threw up this idea for the topic today because of conversations around backlinks, right? And so I think somebody in the it's like Dirk or somebody was like, hey, is link building important, right? So are backlinks still important? Yes or no? I think that's a pretty, I can't imagine either of you two saying like, no, you don't have to worry about backlinks.
I'm never ever going to say that.
I would never say that. But I know, but it made me think the other day, Craig, I know you made a comment that I thought was interesting. I would love to go a little bit deeper in this with you and as well get Holly's viewpoint on this. But, you made a comment, I can't remember where we were, but you said like, yeah, I think guest posts are going to lose steam. Something you probably said it much more colorful in your Glaswegian, vernacular. But am I right? That's kind of your thoughts about where guest posts are going?
Yeah, I mean, for me, guest posts have worked very, very well and still do to some degree. However, I think a lot of the inventory that's out there from seller to seller is all the same. And these websites have had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of posts put on those websites. And that kind of cycle has kind of run its course, in my opinion, where the value you get from some of these guest posts, and I'm not saying every guest post, but from the kind of guest post websites, the power you get from them are few and far between. I recently, I'm not going to say the domain name, but I have a newer website, and I went and I got, I don't know, 20 guest posts, and this was maybe, I don't know, 12 weeks ago. It's still a DR 0.2. So the guest posts are not packing the same fucking power that they once did, in my opinion. Now, it was the jackass, crappy, cheap, typical guest posts. And I think, for any of us, what we want is unique inventory, and that's where people like, your service or, Holly's had a network before. There's some form of control over who's involved in it, how many links are on these websites. It's newer inventory. And I think, we always have to look to newer inventory. But I always get questions coming to me, Craig, what about links for this website and what about links for that website? Let's say it's CBD, for example. It's fucking hard to even get a guest post on that. So you have to go down the kind of PBN route. And the reason for that is you can do what you like with a PBN, whereas you are, with guest posts, you've got to follow someone else's guidelines. And for me, that's also problematic. So I just think diversify your links, do a bit of PR, do a bit of this, do a bit of that. Don't just solely rely on the kind of crappy guest posts that are out there, but always be looking for new inventory. If Holly's got another new news network, I would be saying to people, go fucking jump on that and grab it while it's hot. Don't know if you have or not, Holly, or you still got the old one, but these are the kind of, we're always wanting hot new inventory, and it's where do you find that and who can be asked fucking building up that network. And again, to emphasize, Holly was good about saying, yeah, I'm going to set up a network of 2,500 websites. That is a monumental fucking effort to build something of that size. The server, the resources, everything else, it comes at a huge, huge cost. And I don't think people are fully aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You said a bunch of stuff that made me think of a couple of different questions, but Holly, what do you think? Guest posts, good, bad, going away, not as meaningful?
I think it's going to be a bit like what Craig said. I have a feeling niche edits are going to go away more than guest posts, but to me, it's the same. It's kind of the same thing. I mean, cost-wise, niche edits are always more expensive than guest blogs. But if you can make your own PBN network, and it's not terribly expensive. I mean, if you're building like 20 or 30 a month and they're $12, I mean, that's definitely doable rather than buying auction domains, which I don't buy auction domains. I haven't since, I don't even remember the last time I bought one. I mean, you have to look at a lot of different things. You have to look at WordPress or WordPress. And if you're posting all these pages, you're going to have MySQL issues, and then you're going to have hosting issues. And then when you do get hacked, because you will get hacked, it's not when, it's when, it's if, it's when you will be hacked on WordPress. Even if you lock it down, you still get hacked. So you have to think of different platforms so that you have a backup to a backup to a backup. It's a lot of work, but once you get it down, it's worth it. So I would be more inclined to say I would build a PBN and just use it for my clients than go and buy guest posts or niche edits. Whether or not they're, I mean, in reality, with everything that's going on with SG and AI, if you are planning on ranking organically, you better be all over that first page, because you're going to have AI at the top, you're going to have maps, or you're going to have, if you have product, you're going to have product searches like Amazon, and then either you're going to have forums, or you're going to have people also ask, and then sites. So if you're not in one of those top other spots, I think it's going to be a struggle for you. Mm-hmm. Regardless of what backlinks you have, I would focus more on going where it's hot and dealing with backlinks afterwards.
Do we want to answer this question from Nerdy?
Why not? Go for it.
Yeah. Well, I would tell you, Nerdy, you know, I'm going to be, you know, preaching the PR thing, but, you know, God, do a PR with me, I'm going to get you 700 links with one PR. So
I think that's the one thing Ted Kibaitis mentioned a couple of years back at one of the events is the referring domain count is important. It's not the amount of backlinks, it's the amount of unique domains. And I think, no, not to blow smoke up Randy's ass, because I only have to do that at the start and the end. But
but it feels so good.
But a PR is certainly a good way to get that count up and diversify things. So if you're asking the quickest way to replicate that, and I certainly think that would be one part of the job that I would be doing right from the get-go.
Yeah. So Craig, let me go back and ask you, oh shit, I thought I wrote it down, what I was going to ask you about. You were talking about, you know, the guest posts, and that the ones that you had done had kind of, you know, really didn't do anything for you. So when you went and you sourced those out, did you give any thought, or were you just like, I'm just going to go onto one of these platforms and just go buy, you know, something on a budget and just to get some links? Or were you being more discerning and thinking about, you know, are these, you know, quote unquote quality guest posts?
Nah. So the thought process was, it's a website that I don't really care too much for. So it was kind of a test, you know, over the years, and we all know the answer to this. You know what happens if you've got a brand new website, you buy your citations, you buy a PR blast, and you build, I don't know, 10 guest posts. You know that, you know, that's going to shove you up to a DR 25, you know, or 20 or whatever it may be. You know, it's going to land you somewhere like that. Whereas I wanted to know, without citations, and going after the kind of market watch and the you know, the various other ones that are relatively low cost, I just wanted to see how much that would help the DR. And the reason for it is people have said that how DR is now calculated on Ahrefs has actually changed somewhat in recent months. So I was just curious to see, you know, is it still as easy to get to your 20 or 25? And, you know, just based on, I've not done the PR blast and I've not done the citations. As I say, it's not a website that I have any aspirations of doing that well with. It was just to see what would happen on a brand new domain name that's had no history. What kind of dent in the market would those links make? And as I say, literally 0.2 is the DR. And it's answered the kind of question that I wanted to get. And you know, I think we all know, being on Business Insider or Yahoo Finance or, you know, other ones are going to pack a bit more of a punch, but, you know, those podcast ones are really not doing anything for me.
So a couple of quick follow-ups on that. So you were trying to push your site to a certain range. I am kind of curious. Do you think there is a DR number that you have to have your site at minimal kind of hitting, right? So that you're driving down this World Wide Web highway, right? And for you to be at least like a glimmer, that you've got to be 20 DR or a 35 DR or something at minimum?
Yes and no is the answer. Like, I think I had a consultancy call today with a guy, and he ranks moderately well for some very specific search terms. He was a DR19, and he's like, why am I sitting in position 20 for this and that and various other bits and bobs? And I'm just like, your website's not powerful enough to merit anything higher. And, you know, in order to do reasonably well online, I do think you probably have to have a DR 40 minimum to be considered someone with something that's semi-established. In all honesty, I genuinely do believe that. I think, you know, if you come to me and say, Craig, what do you think of my great SEO here, and you've got a DR 25 and you see a bunch of dog shit links, then I don't consider you to have done a great job, is the honest answer. You know, we all want to do things as cheaply and as cost effective as we want, but, you know, if I'm starting from scratch, I know for me to pack some form of punch, you know, I'm looking for 40 minimum. Anything below that, I would consider shit. It's the same as you. You know, when you look at a link and it's a DR31, you're going, I'm not that fussed on that. You know, it's 40 plus is probably where you're really going, right? That's worth it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of interesting to think about it as a minimum. I would love to hear, there's some good SEOs on here. I'd love to hear you guys just put in the chat, like, DR score minimum that you think a site has got to have in order to like start firing up and ranking well. The other thing I was going to ask you then, as a quick follow-up on this though, what do you use to evaluate? Do you use, you know, people like DA, DR, you know, what is it that the number that you like? So I know you use Ahrefs, you like nerdy 0. But you like DR? Is that the number you like to roll on? Focus?
Yeah, just because I've got a link building agency and that's the language that everyone talks on. So it's just the easiest one to have a generic conversation. I know that DR is not the be all and end all of the world, just to be clear on that. However, you know, I think we all do look at it and go, oh, right, you know, that's a DR, whatever, you know, that's a serious website, or, you know, that's a thingy, a low DR, you know, that's a piece of shit. So whether it's right or wrong, I still think, me personally, I still look at DR and will make decisions based on not just DR, you know, I look at traffic, referring domains, various other bits and bobs, but DR is one of those things I definitely do look at.
Hey, Randy, can I jump in?
If you have to, I guess.
I have to. Yeah. I can't keep my mouth quiet anymore. Totally disagree with Craig on that, but
oh, good. Here we are. Well, SEO Smackdown. Let's go.
The problem is that people who are really good at spamming, like we are, is that we can go from 0 to a DR40 in probably a week. And we can hide
I can make
the
it happen in
links.
like a day if you want, but
Well, I mean, like, I know that the difference is that we're setting them to 301s and the 301s push over. So you won't see the shit links. So if we're selling a domain to someone, we will buy
I
fake
know what
traffic. I had to think about the last time I sold one, but we'll buy fake traffic so that it looks like you're getting, whatever it is, 5,000-10,000 a day, whatever it is, and we'll fake all of the metrics that you want. So we know if you want a DR 30 or 40, we know what like spam list, which is GSA or Scrapebox, to hit at the 301s, and the 301s will be pushed over. So you won't necessarily see the links. We will buy a PR release at the same time. So you see good links, but we'll also push shit ones just to pad it. So whether you're looking at DR, DA, PR, PA, TFs, whatever, at the end of the day is whether or not you trust that agency or that.
Yeah.
And you've got to look at the other metrics. You've got to look at the other metrics. You've got to look at keywords ranking. You've got to look at the other shit, because if you've just inflated it, I could go to Fiverr and I could show you where right now you can buy a DR90 overnight and send some fake traffic at it. You'd need to be a schmuck to actually buy that, though. That's the difference.
But there's a lot of schmucks out there that buy it. That's the problem.
Oh,
otherwise, we wouldn't do it, right? That's the simple fact.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about ranking, even ranking wise, you can rank just running GSA. If you know what you're doing with GSA and Money Robot and SEO Autopilot, press releases, if you know what you're doing with those type of links, that's all that you need. You just have to know what you're doing. That's the difference. Someone says GSA doesn't work. Well, you are not using it right. I can 100% tell you that, because we have, I'm not going to say how many we have of any of them, but I'm just making the point that just because that doesn't work doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just means you're not doing it the right way to make it work.
It's also a good point.
So this is good. This is good stuff. So I don't want to get too far down the road without asking you about this. So Holly, you brought up about PBNs, and I see a comment from Terry Power. It was like, "Hey, stick with PBNs." I mean, PBNs and doing PBNs. I mean, you can absolutely make a great argument for, right, why you do PBNs, why you build out a network. Craig, you probably, I'm sure you've got a good number of PBNs out there. If I were doing one particular niche of clients, like if I were only doing HVAC clients or something like that, I would be building up massive PBNs based around.
But also the reality of that is that you can actually just have one domain as your base domain and have subdomains as your PBN. You don't have to buy 2,500 domains.
Yeah.
We've tested it, and I'm testing it right now with AI content to see if a subdomain, how many subdomains you can get on the first page. And I've seen the test, and there's more than one of the same domain as the subdomain. So again, I don't target a normal niche. I don't target the heavy competition ones where it's going to take us months to rank. I want to rank overnight or a couple days. So my approach is entirely different. And based on that approach you have is based on what you need to have. If you need to have good press releases, if you need to have quality guest blogs, niche edits, that type of stuff. So if you are coming in hot, you don't need that kind of shit because it's a game that you're playing. If it's a client site, you have to be more careful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But on the back end, so this is the part about the PBNs that are like, I mean, you got to put a lot of work into maintaining the PBN. Like you've got to build up the link profile of those things so that, to Craig's point is like, yeah, you don't want just a link that's got, little to no juice to it because it's not really going to do anything for your site. So,
Right.
so with that, then I got to take energy, resources to build out those PBN sites, and however you do it, whether on subdomains or not, but that requires some effort as well, some
But
cost.
so that's how we
associated.
switched that effort. We made it public for everyone else to use, and you build links to our domains. We don't have to build the links to the domains. So you're trying to
Mhm.
rank those posts as guest posts and stuff like that,
Right.
so that you're building the links that we don't have to build them. So
Right.
if you have your own PBN, obviously it's going to be different. You're going to be spend more time with interlinking. Yeah, it's going to take money and it's going to take time. But in the long run, I don't know. If you have your client can afford it, then I would build my own PBN network.
Yeah. I mean, I get it because at the long run, you walk away, you've got an asset that you built, right? And so, So I don't know. Craig, how many PBNs do you have?
Not as many as I used to have, put it that way. And it emphasizes something that Holly said earlier. I used to have hundreds of them, or thousands of them. And I used to use Manage WP and all that shit to update the plugins. But like Holly says, it's not a case of if you get hacked, you will get fucking hacked. And that is the biggest bugbear for me, or templates, just no longer function. When we were doing it back in the day, we used a lot of the same templates and stuff, and then the template just kind of fucking blew up, and you're like, fuck, this has impacted X amount of websites, and that's fine if someone else is paying for it, but when you're the one that's doing it, and you're trying to juggle, it can be a right fucking pain in the ass. And that is why I don't run with as many, because before I was like obsessed with PBNs and stuff, and probably had way more than I actually needed in order to rank as well. So I think now, it's kind of consolidated a lot, but I still love them. And if money and budget was there, and someone came to me and said, Craig, we need to rank in such and such a niche, and it was going to be competitive, would I want to build a PBN and retain full control of that kind of link profile? Yeah, why the fuck wouldn't you? I think it's a great way to do it, but it's just, as long as there's money there, and it's not coming out of my pocket all of the time to do it. And that's why I've got the utmost respect for someone like Holly, who had the news network, because that cannot be easy. So whether you use WordPress or whether you do different platforms, you need to look at different things, because it's stressful, man.
Yeah. Interesting. I wanted to, did you hit Ryan's comment on there about his DR25? Yeah, I saw he posted that on Twitter, I think is where I saw it, which was pretty, impressive on what he did with that thing. Not, a DR25, it's gotten some, okay traffic on there, pretty nice in a short period of time, I think, as well. So, yeah, and he's probably is right. Depending upon how competitive the niche is going to require, where you need to be from a DR standpoint. That's probably right. All right. How about some of these auto link building? Holly, you've mentioned GSA. Muzzy asked, like, hey, can you share some tips on GSA? But how about some of these others like GSA, Money Robot, SEO Neo, Ranker X? Are those effective? Hell, Craig, those guest posts that you did, you probably could have just used Money Robot and got the same results and just pocketed your quid.
I could have got better results, and Ryan Durrani, who they're mentioning that. I know Ryan's big into testing just now with various different things, and I'm trying to show Ryan some of the spammier ways to build link. Like Holly says, sometimes it's not that these things don't work, it's how you use them and how you formulate the output. And Ryan's been playing around, and he's seen some cool stuff. And these things still work. So does the likes of Money Robot, RankerX, SEO Autopilot, SEO Neo, GSA, all of these kind of things work? But again, going back to what Holly says, it's how you utilize them. GSA, for example, it is probably the fucking hardest to learn. I think it's a learn, for me personally, it is anyway. It's a bit of a learning curve, but the amazing thing is you can scrape your own list, or you can go and buy a list from someone. Yeah. So the inventory, again, goes back to that thing we said at the start. It's fucking unique. Do not post to the same bullshit that every other lazy dumbass is fucking doing it to. And that is the ingredient. You have to do something different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Holly, you want to share any of your GSA tips for Muzzy?
I mean, honestly, it's a spamming tool, right? So I don't spend very much time on it. But primarily what I do is very simple. I go to Fiverr once a month, and I order as many Fiverr gigs and X-Runner gigs as I possibly can, like a good $1,000 worth. And I send the traffic usually just to Google. I just give them google.com because I want to, or YouTube. I want to have a clean list. And if I can leave YouTube or Google's link, it generally is a clean list. And then they send me the list, and I take that list and put it into GSA, and I put it in Scrapebox because Scrapebox will comment on the GSA list generally, and so will X-Runner. And something I do, which everyone tells you not to do, is I use exact anchors now. I did not for several years. They would say use a generic anchor, and I do not. I use exact anchor, or I would use brand mentions. And sometimes I will do naked URLs. But I don't use generic because I think that Google has picked up on the generic URLs and they don't count them. I don't want to say they don't count them. They just don't give me as much benefit as a anchor link. So we're not necessarily hitting it with like 10,000 GSA links or Scrapebox in a day, right? We're hitting it with like just under 5,000. And then what's good, we'll check the next day and make sure the link is still there. And if it's there, then we'll send it to an indexer. And then maybe we'll drive links to those too. So again, it depends upon what your approach is. Would I do this to a client site? If you're hiring me to do a client site, then you know who I am, and you probably know that there's a 50% chance I'm gonna ding you. So we would definitely have that conversation, and you definitely have to have a backup because I know what my capabilities are, and I know what they're not. So you have 50% chance. It's probably higher than that I'm going to ding it. But once I hit it, then it's good.
Once you hit, you're like, hey.
Straightforward, and I would be more like, I know that you want your site to rank, but let's rank these other properties, and we'll put a Java redirect on it, and it'll direct to your traffic. That way I'm not touching your actual site. So, definitely ways around that. I don't take that many. I mean, if you want me to do direct to your site, I will, but like, it's not going to be good, probably.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Good. Money Robot. I'm curious on Money Robot because now they have a web version of it, and I saw.
Well, they actually had that. They've always had a web version, but you had to have 4 licenses for it. And it's just, you log in, and it's like projects. Like you can make your project. It's exactly the same thing. It's just a web version. Yeah, there's nothing that's different except for all your projects are in one space. You still no?
They've got AI now.
Oh, did he release it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what got me.
So I didn't know he was released. I knew they were talking about it like 3 weeks ago, but I didn't know they released it.
So there's a couple of changes in the AI. Just go in and do the AI campaign. It's good.
So that's the only difference, though, right?
Yeah.
So it's just the content.
Yeah.
So if you didn't want to use your credits there, you just still like make your prompt over here, copy paste it in.
Yeah.
And then
just fucking tell that to do it now and fuck off.
Yeah, right. And with Money Robot, this is a big difference that I see between some of those is that Money Robot, you can do map embeds in that, right?
Yeah, you can still do map embeds on GSA though.
Oh, yeah. I know you can. Really? How are you doing that with GSA?
You have to test. So that's why I go to Fiverr first. And I'm like, I want this map embedded. And they have a list. And if they don't, they try to embed it. And then I literally do go through and make sure that there actual is embeds on them. Because the list is pretty small. But GSA has Web 2.0s on there, so you can do embeds on there. But the bigger question is, do embeds help versus regular GSA links? So that would be the bigger question than does it do embeds?
So I would love to hear some comments on that. So I would say I would try to get as many map embeds specifically as I can for with local ranking. And I think that works better than just a map URL link.
So the embed you're taking, you were at spring training, right?
Yeah.
Did you heard Chris's presentation?
I was there. Yes.
So
was I paying attention? Well,
I'm not going to say what it is. No. But that is the link you're building to.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're doing those links, then yes. If you're doing embeds of any other kind, no. Not worth it. You would just send direct links to the map. I wouldn't embed. So
what do you think, Craig?
I don't do a whole heap of map stuff, so I am way out of touch whether those work. Does YouTube embeds work? Does YouTube embeds get you on the video carousel and all that kind of stuff? Again, that's the kind of stuff. Again, I learned that one from Holly years ago, but whether these things are as effective as they once were remains to be seen.
I think when you're doing backlinking, I think that you're you have all of these things that you can do for SEO. Like say we have 10 things. I'm going to pick the top 5. So 6, 7, 8, those ones might work, but they're not going to give me enough of a push. And I'd rather get a really big push than, kind of be like, oh, look, I went from 10 or 10 to 8 or that's that's nothing. I want if you go from 20 to number 8, I want that backlink.
Well, also Igor has a question in the craze of digital PR. Guaranteed links. Is it worth it doing that type of stuff? What do you guys think?
I mean, the only guaranteed TR50 that you're going to get is press releases, unless you're doing guest blogs or niche edits, and they're going to cost so much money that, I mean, if you have services like that, that client better have the back, the budgeting for it.
I think it works well if they've got the budget for it. I offer it as a service, but we've got to reach out. We've got to create a story. We've got to shoehorn into trending topics and stuff like that. Reach out to journalists using various different journalists' databases, which cost money. So I offer that very service. It's not quite that price. Ours is actually half of that price, but it's the same thing, and it's part of the overall link building mix. I would look for the high quality press if the budget allows it, though. That's the big thing. A lot of people don't have the budget for it. So
right, that's the issue, is the budget.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thought, though, and similarly, I mean, we can do some of the same stuff as well as an offer, but I think it does come down to what's the objective. Is it just to do that for link building? You could probably get, much for less money. You could get the same kind of links, I think. But if
I
it's
think
for
it
brand
depends
building,
I have such a different opinion than Craig on it. To me, it's a vanity link. To Craig, it's a link that's very good and it'll help you rank. And if that client has the backing and he has the type of site that needs that link, then yeah, you have to spend it.
Right.
Because that's what they want.
But just so we're clear here, like, I'm not talking about digital PR where it is vanity. Like, from my perspective, the reason we offer it at the price we offer it at, we're not offering, like, we'll get you an entrepreneur and, you've got that vanity thing and, all of this fucking bullshit. We're not doing it, like, from that perspective. The one that we do is a step below that, where we want links on the high profile, like the New York Times or a lot of the UK actual press websites.
Right.
But it's purely not for ego. Like, even being on there, if we can get you on there, are you going to get a fuck ton of traffic or sales from it? No, but you're going to get that link equity. So we're somehow sitting in the middle of that. So it's not like the vanity sale, if you get what I mean. It's not like being the entrepreneur and go, oh, look at this, guys, I'm in the fucking front page of Entrepreneur. Fuck that. Like, no way. That is something I think is a step too far.
Right. But you know that some clients want that, though.
Yeah.
Oh, some clients do. But so I kind of take a little broader view about it when you're saying vanity link. So I think if it's like, as you're describing, Craig, I would call that a vanity link, but it's not the vanity for the individual, but you're essentially trying to drive that vanity or that idea, the idea of that for a brand. So to get the brand mentioned on those good, reputable news sites, real news sites, real traffic, is good. That's going to help build your brand, the equity of your brand. And I think, if that's your objective, I think, those are good. If you're doing it just from a pure link building, I don't know, strategy, I don't know.
Right. Like, my guess is the people that buy Craig's links they're gonna have pockets, right? They're gonna have a established website. They're gonna have pockets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they want those kind of links. They need those kind of links.
Oh, they do. Yeah, I agree.
But that doesn't mean that someone like who's a spammer like me can't come in and pop them off, right? So it's just it's different approaches. It's always going to be based on what that client wants, right? So if that's what the client wants, that's what he wants, and that's why he doesn't hire me, because I'd be like, sketch out, boy,
Terry Power says embedding in my maps can help.
Oh my God. Terry, come on now, Terry. You know that's just no.
That's a no. I'm not even going to.
What now? PBN manager stats starts at $25 per site, 100% generated with 40 to 10.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's pitching something.
He's pitching. I was trying to figure out what that was. Like, what is PBN manager? But yeah, I don't know if there's a. Anyway.
There's a real question from Mark Snowden. any tips for ranking parasites in Google right now?
What do you call a parasite? Do you call a parasite Facebook? Do you call it Reddit, Quora, Patch? You know? It doesn't really matter if it's a parasite. I just don't understand sometimes. It's still a property, whether it's a parasite or a website or YouTube or
Right.
Instagram.
Yeah.
You still have to build SEO. SEO is SEO. It's backlinks. If you're doing things like LinkedIn, you would do backlinks. Reddit, you would do backlinks and traffic. YouTube, you would try to get the comments through microworkers or driving through Scrapebox. You know what I mean? I mean, it's depends on what it is.
Yeah.
It really doesn't depend upon what it is. It's backlinks, comments, backlinks, traffic. Go grab a beer. That's it.
Hold my beer. Here we go. The parasite stuff is still amazes me. It's still that shit works.
It's ridiculous. I can put a post up on Reddit and within and do my comments and my upvotes, and within 12 hours or less, I can take that top spot that Reddit was before. So maybe that top spot might be number 6 or number 4, or whatever it is. It just takes me 24 hours or 12 hours. Sorry. It's kind of like the old YouTube in the sense of you could do stuff like that and rank very quickly. I mean, you can still on YouTube, but it's a different game.
Yeah.
Muzzy has a question. Can you use bot traffic only as traffic to these links?
So we actually bought, I don't remember the name of the site. I think it's like Pop Under Traffic or something. It's the first time I've bought this kind. And we're trying to, so we took over a subreddit that was, I don't know, probably 10 years old. And we took over as moderator, and there hasn't been posts in there. And we sent like 25,000 visitors to the subreddit and to the Reddit threads, and it didn't even boost it at all. So if you did that to YouTube, it would kick up, and then when it would stop, it would kick back down. Depends upon what the platform is, and if you can get traffic with clicks, stuff like that. Just to, the more things that people are doing, the better. So we have tried traffic to Reddit specifically, and it did not work out the way it should have.
You got dinged.
We didn't not get dinged. We just didn't get anything. But if I would have sent 10, not 10, if I would have sent 25 and just had them upvote, it would have been, I would have got the difference I wanted, right? So every platform is going to have a different way of ranking. Reddit is first and above everything is about, do I want to say comments or I want to say upvotes? You can't have upvotes and have it rank without having comments, but the comments you got to have with the upvotes. So you kind of have to have both. You can't just send traffic to it. It doesn't matter if it gets traffic to it. If you have YouTube, if you're getting the traffic and you're not getting comments, it's going to help you very short term, and then it's going to drop out. So you just have to have your monkeys in a row.
Monkeys on a rope? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Boy, that's as good as some of the stuff Craig kicks up.
Oh, come on. That's way worse. Come on.
Yeah.
No, I didn't mean it. I don't know how you guys mean it, but we just mean like people on a rope. I don't know how else to say it. I guess I could have said people on a rope.
I think on traffic though, and especially on bot stuff, you are right though. I think there's platforms have their own tolerance for that stuff, that you send too much, it becomes ineffective and can hurt you. And as well, to your point about Reddit, you got to know what it is that you want it to do, right? You can't just send traffic. You've got to have some kind of action around it. So,
Right, traffic and engagement.
yeah. So whatever that may be, that's the one question I know that always comes up. And when people start talking about CTR and such, and I just always chime in like, don't, shoot the moon there with it. You just need a little bit of traffic. You don't have to send hundreds of clicks a day at it. You'll kill yourself.
But it's fun to send 100.
Well, yeah. Got to keep your monkeys on a rope.
Oh God, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Traffic and engagement.
All right.
What works for?
Yeah. So let me throw another question out. Do you guys spend any time or have anybody on your team sourcing out some of these, what I'll say, unique or clever free links opportunities? Like somebody, like Craig in our group, somebody threw out there, I think there's that accounting platform Zero, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right even, but that they like just realized like, oh, I'm getting I don't know, it was like an 80 or a 90 something, quality link from as a profile once you made it public. And do you guys spend any time kind of sourcing out or have a list of that stuff that you utilize?
Nah, I don't bother my arse. I mean, sometimes you get a free link, like you get one from SEMrush as well. If you've got a user profile on there, you can get a link on SEMrush and various other bits and bobs. But do I sit and keep a list and actively go out and do a fuck?
Well, not you, but I'm sure somebody. But you don't have anybody on your team that are going out and doing that. Nah.
Free link. I mean, I think the Zero one or whatever it was that someone mentioned, it's probably a powerful link, but yeah, I just don't feel that it's best use of time.
Fair enough.
I mean, like we used to do that. I don't remember we used to get like a PDF sent to me every month. I can't remember who it was, like back in 2014, and they would tell us how to make profile links and stuff like that. And it worked really good, but until it didn't,
Yeah. That's so true with so much of this stuff, right? Oh, it worked so great until it stopped.
Yeah.
I know it.
But Dave Hennessy says that both you and Brad are looking different.
Upgraded the looks at least. Yeah.
I've got a question for you guys. Putting you on the spot a little bit, but I'm going to go with Holly first because she's a lady, of course. So ladies first. Who would you rather be, Brad or Mike?
Hey, what did you say? I didn't hear
it. Who would you rather be, Brad or Mike? And why?
And why? Now that you throw in the and why, now you gotta like, I know.
That's what I get for disagreeing with me earlier, Holly. This is payback.
Randy, would you like to answer that?
I like, pass the buck. I'll be Brad.
Why?
Yeah, see, this is why? Brad's a scrappy little bastard. He seems like he seems like he handles himself well. That's where I'm going.
And Holly?
Okay, well, I'll say Mike because I've never been tall.
Oh God. That was fun. But an
That's
upgrade, Dave Hennessy says, it's an upgrade here. So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and Brad never has a hair out of place.
Well, I see. That's another reason for me.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Brad,
guys.
yeah.
That was bad.
Brad's like the pretty boy of SEO. Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
Oh, that's good.
But any last questions?
I don't know. I threw mine. I am going to go take a look at the Money Robot web version.
It's the AI thing's a big thing for me because obviously before it was just fucking shit text, but I think that AI might give it a better chance of doing something. So we'll see. I'm currently when Ryan was playing about with it, he's like, dude, how'd you go to advanced settings? Now I've normally got Money Robot on a virtual computer, so I'm just like, go to advanced settings and do it. He went on to the live chat and I'm like, nah, dude, use the web version. And I'm like, what the fuck web version are you talking about? So I'm now in the rabbit hole of playing with the web version. It's funny.
So I'm going to go check that out. But anybody can now. I don't have to have 4 licenses for, to get the web version.
Oh, you need to pay. I can't remember exactly what it costs, but I think you might have to pay a one-off fee of $200, or something like that, and they'll give you it. I probably shouldn't say it, but the guy just fucking changed mine from the VPN for nothing. But hey, you talk to them. They're great guys.
If you can make that work, that's good.
But I did have a couple of licenses, so maybe that swung it in my favor.
I'm gonna have to reach out. I don't see it on the site. Like how to go buy the.
Go to the live chat.
Oh,
and ask them. Just see, can you tell me about your web version?
Got it.
I don't know if it's well publicized. But Holly, there's a question from Davey. Expired domains. Is Holly scraping for expired domains or is it dead?
For like our network and stuff, no. We've always bought brand new ones. We did scrape in the beginning, but yeah, no. We just buy brand new ones and build them the way we want them.
Hopefully that answers your question, Dave. But Randy is busy.
I know. I'm like, yeah, I gotta get into this Money Robot thing. I want to check it out.
But yeah, it's good. Automate ranking. Add new. All you need to do is literally feed it your URL, and boom, off it goes and does it.
Dude, this guy. Who the hell is this guy? Nick. Who's running Money Robot?
Yeah, it should be Nick.
This guy's like tits up. Boom. He's like, I just was like chatting with him, like, hey, and I didn't even say anything. I'm like, who the hell I am? And he's like, hey, I'll set you up. Here's a license key. Fuck me, man.
I just went on the other day. And he's like, yep, I'll migrate over to the web version, no problem. I'm like, whoop, good, great guy. I was fully expecting to pay something, but
so you don't have to host the VPS.
I don't know. Well, I'm gonna go check it out. So I don't know. Nick, Money Robot, you're my man.
Hit him up in the live chat. Strange things happening.
Oh, shit.
Sorry, Nick, if you get bombarded.
I know. I was just thinking that same thing. I'm like, oh God, hopefully it didn't unleash the Kraken on him.
You know what everyone else is like? Ah, that bastard Randy got it for
I
free.
know. I know. God. Oh, sorry.
That's why when
Sorry.
it slipped out my mouth, I was like, ah,
Yeah, I know.
you
I was
shouldn't
like,
fucking said anything.
edit this out somehow, right?
It's live.
Yeah. I know. Shit. Sorry, dude. Wow.
But we are out of time, guys. We did reach the hour mark, which was quite quick.
It was quick. It was good stuff.
But before we do go, check out the link below, guys, for Randy, the news guy, his PR service. And you can also check out hollystarks.com for all things to do with Holly Starks and whatever she may have going on or coming up. So check that out as well.
Very good. Well, she's got laundry, so she's going to be folding is what's coming up.
Yeah, last week I had laundry that I was folding during, and then I had to stop because you were asking me questions I had to focus on.
There's James Chapman from the Mastermind saying they've migrated him as well. God. At least some people have got some value out of this session today, even if it's a free migration. Good on money, though. But we'll be back at the same time next week, everyone. So we will catch you then.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.